What's y'all's longest relationship starting with you?
2 years.
Year and a couple months.
8 years.
Nice.
Never been in a relationship.
Oh, it's the worst. Because I know he'll be the worst in bed. Because guys that don't have relationships suck in bed. Worst kisser, worse in bed. Explains the really tight skinny jeans.
Why don't you think you've been in a relationship?
I was just more focused on working.
All I hear is excuses. Like,
Guys, this is the Shade Podcast. I'm here with my beloved friend Kyler. Now, in this episode, we will be talking about virginity. Why are we bashing virgin men and virgin women? But essentially, before we get into that, the Shade Podcast is all about exposing the sexual morality of today's day and age, of what the secular world thinks how we should operate sex, which is full of stupidity and depravity. But nonetheless, let's jump right into this.
Wow. All right. So, as you see with this video that we showed you at the beginning of this, the clip that we showed you at the beginning of the intro, is that we're seeing now a lot of people that are being bashed for being virgins. If you are a virgin and you are watching this, stay tuned. Keep watching. If you if you've already lost your virginity, keep watching.
Yeah.
And those of you that think that you could be a born again virgin,
Keep watching.
keep watching.
Yeah.
But why is it that we are bashing these individuals who are waiting to have sex until marriage? I don't see what the problem is for people that are deciding to preserve themselves for marriage.
I think what it could be is I'm starting to see a shift in regards on how the way the woman and men view virginity. There are lots of men who are good with men preserving themselves because, as we know, that is it's harder for men to lose their virginity. But for women, since it's so easy for them to lose their virginity, since they have so many options of which they can choose from, typically, right, a lot of women, if you're relatively good looking, you have lots of options of which you can choose to have sex with. And so because lots of women can have the ability to do that, and whenever they find another woman who doesn't have that ability to choose from which man she wants to have sex with, it's all like, what? You're a virgin? You know how easy it is for me to have sex? There are countless of DMs and men wanting for me to have sex with them. So I would say it's perhaps a fringe minority of women who are bashing other women to lose their virginity. But in my opinion, I would say that as a whole, women, they won't necessarily bash other women for them being a virgin, but they'll influence other women not to be a virgin based on how the way they live their lifestyle.
Exactly. And then two, there's a lot of people that are basing virginity based on age, saying now they're shaming people. They're saying, okay, if you're past this certain age, okay, that's a little too late now for you to be a virgin. You should have already been past this stage. You should have already been having sex. What are you doing? What are you waiting for? You're what, 20? And you haven't had sex? I had my first time when I was 10. And it's like, okay. Which too, on what I want to say too is that if you are a teenager and you are having sex, I think, buddy, you may need to get out of the bedroom. You don't need to be doing that at that young. Okay. I feel as if I hear some of these stories of people saying, yeah, I lost it when I was 10, I was 13. And when you really think about it, like that age, it is too young to be operating in sex because you don't even really know truly how sex is supposed to be operated in.
And what it does.
Yeah, exactly. You're just doing it just to do. I remember even like in elementary school, there were kids. There was this one girl who she had gotten in trouble. I'm not exposing you. I'm sorry, but she
here's a picture.
She had got here she is, y'all. Here she is. But no, she was in class during nap time, and her and another kid were, you know, like I guess dry humping in the class. Right. And I'm like, yo, what are y'all? And they ended up getting in trouble for it. But they're like young, like probably like 6 years old, like kindergarten, first grade. Wow. And I'm like, yo, and this is what young children are seeing this nowadays, and they're thinking that it's okay. And it's like, that is very too young, you know, for you to be having sex because you don't know what it does to you. You don't even know the purpose of sex and how it should even be operated. Plus, you don't even know what you're doing.
Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And then I can imagine if they were to actually engage, speaking to the teenagers, whenever y'all guys engage in sexual intercourse, just know that you are giving yourselves up to this person, of which then creates a soul tie. Now, if you want more explanation behind that, then watch out What Happens Whenever You Have Sex by Kyler Briscoe. It's an amazing video. But nonetheless, you are giving yourself up to that person. Now, imagine if you continue on that lifestyle. It's going to be very hard for you to commit to the man or woman who you really want to commit to. The sex is not going to be as good. Why? Because you've already given yourself up to lots of other partners. Now, back to the shaming part. I have never seen in my personal life men shame other men for them not losing their virginity. Perhaps it's because, as I said previously, there is a shift now. Now it's starting to become a good thing that men are, well, now I can't even say that. I don't even think that men, there's two ways that I'm seeing this, okay? It's kind of, it may be a little bit complex for the mind to see how the way men are viewing virginity now. Right. One, if you lose your virginity now, then you are ultimately gaining status. Why? Because you are gaining experience. Right. And two, if you don't lose your virginity and if you want to preserve yourself, then hey, that's cool, bro. Sure, go ahead and continue to preserve yourself. Oh, you're waiting for marriage? I mean, cool, I guess, but you shouldn't really engage in marriage because marriage is no longer a good institutional thing to be in. But so it seems like men now, the modern man, is playing both sides. They won't necessarily bash the man who is preserving himself. Let's say if that man has the ability to go out there and have sex, but instead he wants to preserve himself, then they'll say, okay, cool, good for you. Maybe
I
you
won't
aren't
necessarily
right,
do it, but hey,
right. Maybe you aren't gaining any experience for the sexual marketplace, but for me, on the other hand, I am gaining experience because I'm having lots of sex. So it seems as though the modern man is playing on both sides. Now, for women, it's kind of like the same thing, right? I would say that women, a fringe minority of them, are bashing other women for not losing their virginity. Maybe perhaps because they want other women to be in their boat, who are miserable, who are sad, who are depressed, who want other women to join in their misery. And this is for the women who are casually, really just casually sleeping around a lot. I know for a fact that those women are a whole lot less happier than the women who are preserving themselves because they understand that they're not being used as a means to an end, right? So it's like a cycle. In order for me to cope with this feeling that I'm being used as a means to an end, it's not a feeling, it's an actual fact that you're being used as a means to an end. Let me kind of go ahead and influence other women to be used as means to men. Because, hey, that's what all men want now. They just simply want to have sex with us. Fine. We'll go ahead and give them what they want.
Right. And then to asking people too about like their sexual status, asking a person how many bodies they have, or asking someone whether they are a virgin or not. And Oprah, you were wrong for asking Michael that on national television. No, never mind. Oprah, I got some. Never mind. This is another episode. But asking somebody a question like that is a private thing, And so I'm like, we shouldn't invade in people's personal lives. I don't think when you asking people those sorts of questions, prying into their personal lives. Are you a virgin? Have you had sex before? Blah blah blah. It's just like, okay, what does that gain for you if that person has not lost their virginity, and what does that do for you if this person has had multiple sex? What does that do for you? It's none of your business, regardless, and that's a personal thing. But then too, a lot of the times too, I see a lot of women that will say, for instance, well, I need a man that's experienced. I need a man that knows what he is doing in the bedroom. And so they will shame virgin men, or shame men sometimes will shame virgin women. I don't see that as often, but I always usually see it kind of look down upon the man, like, oh, wow, really? You're a virgin still? Because men are expected to lose their virginity, especially at a very early age. As a woman, it's kind of like, okay, well, that's cute, okay, blah blah blah. But if as a man, it's like, okay, we kind of look down on him because we're expecting him to have a lot of sex. But when we look at that, we're like, okay, a lot of women, they'll say they want a man that's experienced in the bedroom, and then you'll hear these men that say that they want on a woman that's experienced. She needs to know what she's doing in the bedroom. Or a lot of these men will want virgin women so that they can freak them out in the bedroom and turn them on into these other kinks and inappropriate things.
Yeah, and I could even include a third one. Or they just simply want a virgin because they understand the concept that why would I want to have sex with a woman who has been used, who has been used as a means to win. And so either of those three are 100% a way that a man... the reason why a man would want a virgin.
Oh, you a virgin? Okay, I'm gonna teach you some things. I'm gonna level you up.
I would say that a lot of men just simply want virgins so they can know that she hasn't been used as a means to an end and given herself up to other men. So it's good that she's only giving herself up to him. But then again, it's going to be bad on the man because it's going to be hard for him to commit to her because he has already given himself up to other women. And then two, why on earth would a woman who has kept her virginity, because typically women who have kept their virginity, they understand the concept of what sex is. And typically lots of virgin women, they are Christian women. So because of that, why on earth would they want to go ahead and have sex, much less be with a man who has been casually sleeping around? You honestly think in your mind that you deserve a woman who is a virgin. But here comes the red pill argument. No. It's different, though. You see, it's different, Kyler, that I have sex with many women versus when she has sex with many women. Because me, I can have the ability to not connect with them. Okay, sure. I understand that. You may not have the ability to connect with her, which is a good thing, sure, if you want to go ahead and view it that way. But nonetheless, this is what's happening. You are still giving yourself up to her. So whenever you have sex with a woman you actually want to be with, the sex is not going to be as intimate. That problem of you losing yourself isn't only upon the woman, it's also upon you as well.
True. And so it's a lot of people now that's rushing into sex because they're giving into peer pressure and they think that it's going to do something for their status if they have sex. Well, if I go ahead and lose my virginity, then I can go ahead and tell all these guys, I was with Samantha, I was with, all these different girls. And so now you feel as if it does something for your ego now. It's building you up. Now you're thinking that you're the man now because you've had sex with all of these women. It essentially is a very shallow view of life, and it doesn't really do anything for you at the end of the day, but just create more soul ties for you. So don't rush it. Don't try to just rush into sex because you're giving into that peer pressure. You're afraid of what other people think of you. That's not a reason to rush into it. And then to think about it too is that if a person is a virgin and they're operating and wanting to save sex until marriage, I think that is a great thing. That is an admirable thing because that person has something called self-control. He knows how to control himself and not give in to his urges and give in to those desires of his flesh and give in to those lustfulness that he may have and be tempted to give into. But when that person brings sex into, when you bring sex into a relationship, sex clouds your judgment. And so a lot of people are blinded because they have these frames on. They're blinded to red flags in relationships because the sex is good. So we're having a lot of sex, but I'm gonna overlook the fact that she does this or he does that, or he is a little abusive, but I'm gonna look past it because the sex is good. When you bring sex into a relationship, it clouds your vision, it clouds your judgment, and so you can't see that person for who they really are. You can't really see their character, essentially, and so it blinds you. But when you operate in virginity, when you operate in purity, you have discernment. And then you're able to now discern, okay, who this person is, especially too if you're dating for marriage. You're able to discern and be like, okay, should I date this person? Should I be with this person or not? You're able to actually focus on the relationship. But when you make sex the main focus of a relationship, you won't be able to actually get to know that person for who they are. You're just in it for sex. Yep. So that can lead the relationship downhill. So regardless,
essentially what we're saying, guys, it's continue to be a virgin if you are a virgin. Now look, because it's better for you in the long run, especially if you want to get married. Now here comes the rats in the background. They'll say, Well, y'all guys are telling women to be virgins, yet over 70% of women by the age of 20 have had already had sex. So y'all guys are preaching to who? To the choir? We're really speaking to. See, now that's a good question, right? Who are we speaking to?
We're talking to the people that are virgins, maybe
Right.
for this episode, that
Right.
may be a little discouraged and maybe feeling as if they need to go out and,
Right.
and
Exactly.
do.
Now, for those of you who are not that you shouldn't click off this video, but now that you understand why it's so imperative to be a virgin, especially nowadays, and especially if you want to get married, perhaps you can go ahead and share this video to them. So it's, I suppose you could say we are speaking to the choir, but we're also trying to inform the people who think that virginity is something that you can just casually throw away. And I'm pretty sure lots of you have already casually threw it away at the age of 16, 17, whatever age it may be, because y'all were in the heat of the moment, or you really like the dude. But nonetheless, y'all gave each other a piece of y'all's souls and a piece of y'all's body and mental spirit to the other person. So I really don't have much to say about it. Just virgins continue to be virgins. It's a admirable thing.
It is. And then guess what? God, when he chose to come down here on this earth and come in the form of Jesus in human form, who did he choose? He chose a virgin woman. He chose Mary. Mary was a virgin. So God favors and he looks upon those that operate in purity and that keep themselves pure. Of course, some of you like, well, didn't he use prostitutes and he used all these types of people? Okay. That's a different episode. But for those that's watching this, understand that God does, he blesses virgins, and then he blesses those that imagine coming into a relationship where you are your spouse's first and only person that y'all have ever been with. You are your wife's first person and only person. You are your husband's first and only person that you've been intimate with. Can you imagine like how special and beautiful that is to know that you're the only one that has been intimate with that person, that you're the only person that has experienced the beauty of that man, and nobody else has seen your body, nobody else has been in touch with you this way. I want to keep the words pure, because this is a YouTube who don't want to get yellow marks, but of course that's just, you're like, wow, that's a special thing, and I think that shouldn't be looked down upon, and it is admirable, it is honorable, and we should continue on that path.
Yes, amen.
I guess we can close it off.
Guys, Shades Podcast, this is awesome. Continue to be virgins.
It's worth the wait.
Like, subscribe, comment. If you hate us, we love you. If you love us, we love you. All right. Shades out.